Welcome back, Lovestylers. It's Misty on the mic with Andrew Marcus. Hi, Andrew.
Hello.
And we are a couple of artists and we like to release content. We have a lot of music out there. Check out blackeyedsoul.com. That will get you to all of our music. We are currently a Gen X couple over 50 trying to live a healthy lifestyle. And we like to talk about a lot of different topics and just turn the mic on. So today, Andrew, why don't you talk about what the subject is?
Perfection and the lack of perfection in our life. Talking about mistakes and how some mistakes are beautiful and some mistakes are just plain old nasty mistakes. Where's perfection fit into your life, Misty?
It really has no place in my life, I found out after all these years. When I try to do something perfect, I really fail miserably. Oops. See, it's so imperfect. We let calls come through. You might hear traffic.
Ring. I'm going to shut my cell phone. How unprofessional.
Cell phones ring in the middle of us talking. This is imperfect.
Rookie broadcaster here left my cell phone on. Sorry.
Rookie mistake, Andrew. My goodness. Like me, I yell on the mic. I'm still learning.
Not today. You got the mic perfect. See?
Oh,
you got the mic better.
Segue.
You get the mic better than usually when you get on the mic. You got
I have been leaning into the mic and now I'm learning to stay where I am because I'm watching and you're right. No one leans in to talk to a mic except an amateur. Now, the funny part is I've been in a band my whole life. I know this.
Yeah, it depends on the sound you're going for. If you want that sound like Tim Dillon breaks the mold. He does not care. And I think he's great.
He does not care. And he's a great example of he is what he is. You don't even put a nice shirt on. Friend of the show, Tim Dillon. So we appreciate his listening and yours as well today. So perfection has no place in my life. I am much, much too rough around the edges, probably for the average person even. I don't know. I'm sure there's nobody keeping track. Only God is perfect. But I'm always becoming. That's how I look at it. I'm always becoming. I'm always evolving as a person. It's very important to me. At least now in my life, over 50. I'm 54, just turned 54. And the more I mess up, the faster I learn. And now I'm starting to apply what I've learned. And that's very important. Of course, if you don't apply it, then it doesn't even make sense. So you might as well try not to be perfect, everybody. Just be authentic, which is much better than perfection.
That's very well said. Is there any room for perfection in your life? Is there something you like perfect?
My makeup.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, I didn't even have to think, and we didn't even rehearse this, and we didn't even talk about this. I didn't even have to think. You see how quickly?
Yeah.
But with women, our looks, we're trying to get it perfect. A lot of us, most of the time, when I'm having a great day and I don't give an F, I might even post something not perfect and it might even perform better than when I do the whole makeup, the rehearsal type of thing. I'm going to go over this, this, and this. The less I plan, the more imperfect it is, the better it seems to do, like on social.
Yeah, you made your first ugly post, correct?
It was my second, but they both did well.
Post. Okay.
So I made 2 ugly posts and they both did extremely well for my numbers. My numbers are below low. And I'm not trying to, make you feel sorry for me.
Go to blackeyedsoul.com. We'll take you to all the socials, all the platforms.
Yeah, Misty Lovestyle, Black Eyed Soul 1 to save you some time, but go to our website. We appreciate that.
Or just look up hashtag Black Eyed Soul.
Yeah. I mean, for reals.
So you like your makeup perfect. You did your 2 ugly posts. I'd say I repost.
I like my looks to be perfect. So a lot of women go through this. We have a standard. There is a standard for women. We know what we should kind of look like. And I hate to say that. I kind of hate admitting it, but there is like, when you look your best. I'll just put it that way. You know how your hair looks best. I'm sure men go through this, the right size clothing, the flattering type of clothing. The whole package has to have a vibe or be as perfect as we can for the time that we're allotted to get ready for women. For example, that's just an example. Like my makeup, I love when it looks perfect.
Yeah, I would say would you say all of my posts are ugly posts? Because I look like a madman. I got people telling me I look bad in my posts.
So then you're doing something right, I would say. Yeah, it's not a mistake. It's very authentic, which is the opposite of a mistake, which is authenticity to me is the opposite of being perfect. I know that that's not the definition you just looked up. What did it say?
I don't know. I got to put my glasses back on. Would you say authenticity supersedes perfection?
Yes. So authenticity is the opposite of perfection. That's what we're saying today.
Sure.
So I made those posts where I had no makeup on. I would never even leave the house without makeup, like 2 years ago. Like, honest to God, this is embarrassing to admit in public. But I did 2 posts without makeup and they soared. And the best picture I've ever used for a thumbnail, my favorite, authentic picture, I had no makeup on in that either. And it just seems that...
What was that picture?
That's the one with the bandana on my head. Why Your Haters Really Love You. Look up that one to the audience to break the wall here if you want to check out how I feel authentic. It was a bandana on my head and we were out west on a vacation.
That was that hole in the rock.
At the Hole in Rock.
I think it was Tempe or Phoenix, Arizona. I forget. It's in Phoenix or Tempe. I think it's in Tempe, Hole in the Rock. But we had just done a hike.
Yeah.
And you felt empowered. You felt confident.
No, I had no makeup on. I was hiding.
But you felt confident in the picture. I think that's why you liked the picture, because you did a hike.
Well, the thing is, I think it's because I was having so much fun. I didn't give a crap. It must have shown on the outside. Even though I was covered up in a bandana, covered up with weird clothes or whatever, and sunglasses.
Because this is an audio only podcast right now.
Yeah.
Because our upstairs studio, we're making another record. And the studio, usually where we put the cameras on and stuff, is all full of mics and recording drums. And it's like a bomb went off in the studio. It's a mess. But the picture you're taking, I want to paint the picture. You have a bandana on your head. I thought I shut this ringer off.
Imperfection. See?
I didn't even know how to work a cell phone. For the record, so people can, you weren't like walking around with like a bank robber with a bandana over your face.
I don't normally dress like that. We jumped in the car. We wanted to see our last thing on our vacation, I think it was. And I was just so excited to be there that I didn't care how I looked. And the picture came out better than if I had posed, which I hate posing for pictures, or set it up or put on perfect makeup. It still ended up being a better photo. Isn't that weird?
You're having a good time. You felt powerful. You seemed confident in that photo. And the photo of us in Utah when we did the delicate arch and the gentle arch and did that treacherous 3.5 mile hike up the side of literally the side of a mountain in the middle of the desert. And you were like happy and confident. Our lips are all cracked and dry and are all sweaty. And I got a big sweat ring around my hat. And I mean, we were having a blast.
Yeah. I mean, that was like the best experience I ever had probably in my life.
So I want to read you AI authenticity, the definition. Authenticity is the quality of being real, genuine, true, and original, or in exact alignment with one's core values and beliefs rather than acting out a false persona.
Oh, wow. That says it all.
Gotta love AI. Genuineness, exactly what it's claimed to be, reliability, and authoritative, trustworthy. So when you look up perfect, the definition is flawless, being entirely without fault, default, or blemish, complete lacking of no essential detail or element, exact, satisfying all requirements accurately.
But wouldn't it be someone's opinion? The opposite person's opinion, what's perfect, what isn't, and what you think is perfect and what isn't?
Well, I think to go back to what you're saying, authenticity trumps perfection.
Yeah.
I think what some people may say is perfect, like when we did our floors upstairs, we did the floors ourselves. There was luxury vinyl flooring.
Yeah. Saved up. We saved up for years for it.
Yeah, it's the new rage. So when we were making the floors and I was trying to wrap my head around certain angles and stuff, and we were doing the quarter round, we had a lot of imperfections, but we liked it. We thought it was fun because we did it together. I'm
not going to say I like the imperfections of the floor because I put a rug over the little spaces.
Well, but in that imperfection, you found a beautiful rug that really tied the room together.
Well, you got a point there, my dude.
Yeah. When I paint, I don't seek perfection. I don't seek perfection in any of my art. I seek authenticity. I want my work, in my work life and my personal artistic life. I want the authenticity to
show,
to shine, to scream. That's why people like working with me in my personal life. That's why people like working with me in my artistic life. That's why I like working with you, because you're not so perfect that...
No, I'm very much rough around the edges, like all the time.
And you're a good judge of authenticity.
Thank you.
I can't believe I'm pronouncing that word correctly.
Authenticity?
Authenticity. It is
quite
tongue twister.
It's quite a mouthful.
But when we're recording, and if we do a vocal or we just got done with hand percussions, and when something's not perfect, but it kind of fits, it brings that other flavor to the song. So what's another example of something you like close to perfect in your life?
Well, of course, my keyboard playing, now that you got me thinking of music. When I listen back to the take, I have found that I prefer listening to how it feels now, after all these years, compared to if it was played perfectly. And it turns out the takes that I like and that we keep on our album, we're late, we slow down, we hit bad notes, we sing off key. It's perfectly imperfect if you ask me. But when I listen back to my takes now, I'm not concentrating on, did I play it perfectly? I'm concentrating on, can I see the person playing it, a human being playing it when I hear it? Am I in the room with the other characters in the band? And you and I use this as a visualization now. Remember, be in the room, we tell each other,
Yeah.
So, and that's been working for me, by the way. So keep saying that when necessary.
So you're saying, you like your art to be representational and authentic of who's playing it. Who's behind the brush, who's behind the keyboard, who's behind the tambourine, who's behind the bass, who's behind the songwriter. You just want that authentic tone. You want that authentic expression.
Yes. I feel like the authenticity is a moment in time as well as being the person doing it. So it's a person doing it. Now I see me playing the keyboard, and a moment in time with the other players that just exist in my head, of course, when I'm listening to the music or the take, whether or not to accept it or not as a take. Does it feel right? Versus, like we were talking about a few minutes ago, a mistake. Now, people were taught since children to not make mistakes. And I think this is a problem because now everyone's afraid to make a goddamn mistake.
I'm
with
not.
Everything.
I'm not.
You seem like the biggest perfectionist that I know of. But you're totally imperfect. And you're totally you. And you're totally all over the place. And people who don't know you think you're a perfectionist. They have no idea that you wanted it way better than you settled for.
Do you feel that there's a right way and a wrong way to do certain things, or everything can kind of be improvisational?
I'm more of the improvisational, I would say, personality. I think there's so much room for everyone and everything that I go kind of too far out there. I'm a little bit wacky, since you asked my opinion. So there's really not a right and a wrong way for a lot of things. Now, when it comes to like makeup for myself and how I look, yes, I'm a woman, let's be real. And I have a good eye for color and things like that. there's certain colors that just don't match. I already know that you are kind of the opposite. There is kind of a right or wrong way to do things. And men in general, I notice, are more black and white with this. Can you explain?
The things I like perfect in my life
Yeah.
is the checkbook.
Okay, see?
It has to be balanced, perfect.
Like to the penny?
To the penny.
Okay, see, I would never.
I know where every single penny has gone since I was 11 years old and old enough to count pennies. I don't like worry. I don't like things that are worrisome.
Okay, so if it's not perfect, are you worrisome when it comes to finances, in other words?
Yes. If say something goes wrong, it will bother me. And I'll go, well, what went wrong? Like if
in the finances or in your life or anything.
Like, so say like when just before we're doing the podcast, because we've made a makeshift podcast studio in our dining room because we're recording a record in the studio upstairs.
And there's shit everywhere. So that's all imperfect.
Yeah. So I'm dealing with a different interface and I'm like, why is this interface not working? Because it's not the same interface that I use upstairs, which is not the same interface that I use at work. And I'm interface crazy. I got so many interfaces I have to interface with. So
that's
I'm
ironic.
Kind of like, well, what the heck happened? And I got bewildered.
You just have 10 interfaces you have to work with in a day.
Right.
So how could we hold ourselves to perfection when it's constantly changing?
Well, in a perfect world, I would say, let me deal with one interface. But the world is not perfect. So I don't see how the world can demand perfection from me.
I think perfection is a disease that you can catch from your family. If you were criticized as a child, for example, I don't see any parents getting out of this. They must tell them the better way to do things. I won't say the right way because I kind of feel like there is no right way. There's a better way or a good way. And then there's a terrible way and a bad way, of course, like for real. But every child who is interacting with a parent is being constantly corrected, for the most part, for the betterment of the child, for the betterment of the child in the future. How is this child going to roll with the punches if it doesn't know the basics? So I will give parents that. I am not a parent. I have definitely done my share of helping raise many, many children in my large ass family.
My parents didn't correct me. They didn't care. I mean, they cared enough to have a roof over my head, but they kind of let me find my way.
Wow. This is...
They also died when I was young too, so.
What?
They also died when I was very young, so like teenager. So, they didn't really leave a handbook.
I was constantly criticized at every turn.
And I didn't have YouTube or social media to lean on. I just had myself. The music we make, it's not commercial music. It's music, we do it for us. We're not looking to fill a bar on Saturday night, so we can afford to play the music that we want to play and do a quirky, 7-minute song with a complete 3 minutes of noise at the end. We don't answer to anybody. We've earned the right to do whatever we want artistically. If you look at our paintings, you go on our socials, look at our photos, how we dress, how we ugly post.
Yeah.
Very
rough around the edges.
I've earned the right to do that. I've earned the right to sit in my house and play guitar in my bare feet and my paint covered gym shorts and my t-shirt, because that's
it's authentic.
It's authentic, and that's me, and that's what I love. Just like you loved, I was in my element. I'm in my element. You were in your element when we were hiking in Arizona, and we did all that day of hiking, and we ended at Hole in the Rock before dinner to see a giant hole in a rock. So it was fun. You were excited. The weather was beautiful. You were in your element. Didn't care what you looked like. It just cared about how you felt, and that's authenticity.
When I'm talking about authenticity, I want the experience of learning a new thing being okay with being the student of life almost in every activity, even if it's a repetitive activity. Each time you do it, you learn something new every damn time, guaranteed. I swear it's going to come out in the wash in my benefit for the betterment of my life somewhere, somehow. We want to thank you for tuning into the Lovestyle podcast today. Check out the playlists. We have some carnivore videos, me in the kitchen making some recipes, nice and imperfect for everybody. Steve's Messy Kitchen. And it's fun over here. Stick with us. Subscribe, like, hype on your way out. And keep your eye on us. Black Eyed Soul meets Lovestyle. The Lovestyle podcast, Andrew and Misty. We're the latest thing. Middle-aged angst, rock and roll, and fun. Thanks for checking us out. Peace
out.